The galaxy had seen wars before. Small wars, big wars, civil wars, machine wars. But no one had ever seen a war like this. It began with a single message, broadcast, sent through every star network, on every world that had the technology to listen. The voice was cold, official, and full of fear. Attention, the Terran species, humanity, has violated galactic peace protocol. They have ignored 3 warnings from the Council. Effective immediately, war is declared. The message ended, and the galaxy went quiet. On planets hundreds of light years apart, different alien races looked at each other in shock. The name. Humanity was already a strange one to many of them. Some had traded with them, some had heard rumors, and some had only heard stories. Stories that sounded impossible. A race that came from a small blue world at the edge of a spiral arm. Species that had fought itself for thousands of years before even touching the stars. A people who had survived ice ages, plagues, famines, and wars so brutal that no other intelligent race could understand why they still existed in the alien language files. The humans had another name, the persistent species, because no matter what happened, they did not stop. In the war room of the Zalorian Star Navy, Commander Velrock stood before a large holographic display. He had fought in 6 major campaigns. He had faced pirates, rebel colonies, and even an AI uprising. But when he saw the red marker appear on the star map, the symbol for the human fleets, something felt different. "Commander," said one of his officers, "our analysts believe we can end this in 2 standard weeks. They are outnumbered, outgunned, and their supply lines are weak." Velrock nodded slowly, but his eyes never left the map. He remembered the last time the Zeller Empire had fought humans. It was a small incident, barely worth recording in history. A single human freighter had been attacked by pirates. The pirates were destroyed in less than a day, not by the Navy, but by the humans themselves. With tools, with bare hands. Fury. That was 20 years ago. And Velrock had not forgotten the look in their eyes. Now, the humans were at war with the entire Galactic Council, a war they could not possibly win. And yet, first reports were strange. In the capital world of the Rin Collective, a news broadcast showed human soldiers boarding their ships. They were not shouting. They were not afraid. They were smiling. Velrock turned away from the holoscreen and pulled up archived files, human history logs collected over decades. He read about the great wars on Earth, the endless conflicts between nations, the dangerous voyages across oceans filled with storms, the expeditions to climb the highest mountains, cross deserts, and dive into deep, dark waters. For no reason except to see if they could. It didn't make sense. Every other intelligent race in the galaxy avoided danger. They built safety into their culture. But humans, they looked for it. Hours later, Velrock stood before the full council of war leaders. They discussed battle plans, strategies, supply chains. Every species in the room was confident. Every species believed this would be a short war, but Velrock kept remembering those smiles. "What is it?" asked General Korath, noticing his silence. Velrock hesitated.
Tell me.
He said slowly, "What do we really know about humans?" The room went quiet. An admiral from the Dren Alliance cleared his throat. "They are aggressive. They adapt quickly." Velrock interrupted. "No, I mean, do we know why they fight? Do we know why they keep surviving things that should kill them?" No one answered. Far away, in the Sol system, a human fleet moved into formation. Dozens of warships, some brand new, some so old they had fought in the first interstellar skirmishes. The crews were calm. Excited even. On the bridge of the flagship Resolute, Admiral Catherine Vance watched the enemy star positions. Around her officers prepared weapons and plotted jump coordinates. The air was heavy with anticipation. A young officer turned to her. "Admiral, the Council fleets are advancing." "Orders." Vance smiled. The same smile Velrock had seen in old reports. "Orders. We've been waiting for this for years. Tell the fleet." She paused. "Finally. It begins." The first human ships jumped into enemy space without hesitation. They didn't wait for reinforcements. They didn't retreat to safer ground. They charged. Velrock's eyes widened as reports came in. The humans weren't following any known battle doctrine. Their movements were chaotic, unpredictable, like hunters, and in that moment, Velrock understood something terrifying. The Galactic Council had declared war on humanity. But humanity had been waiting for it. That night, as the stars shifted above the Zalorian capital, Velrock recorded a private message to himself. "We think this is our war to win. But I believe this is their game to play. The moment they smiled, we had already lost." The first battle began in the Kelros sector. It was supposed to be a show of strength. 5 fleets from 5 different alien empires gathered to crush the humans quickly. In total, 1,024 warships against only 200 human ships. Every military officer in the galaxy expected the same thing. The humans would fight for a short time, lose heavily, and retreat to defend their homeworld. But that is not what happened. From his command ship, Commander Velrock watched the human fleet appear in the star system. They did not arrive in careful formation like other species. They came in scattered, like shards of glass thrown into space. "Idiots," one alien general muttered. "They'll be destroyed before they can regroup." Velrock said nothing. His eyes followed the humans closely. Instead of pulling back, the human ships accelerated, straight toward the center of the alien lines. It made no tactical sense. The alien admirals laughed, and the humans fired. It wasn't just their weapons. Though those were powerful, it was the way they moved. Human ships twisted, spun, and changed direction without warning. They dove through gaps no other pilot would dare enter. Some ships even turned off their engines completely, letting momentum carry them silently through the middle of the enemy before reigniting power at the last second. Alien targeting systems could not predict them. Their AI said, "Movement pattern, illogical, but deadly." Within the first hour, the humans had destroyed 3 times more ships than they had lost, and they were laughing. Velrock listened to captured radio transmissions. Human voices, full of adrenaline. "Push forward. Don't give them time to breathe. They're breaking. Hit them harder. I'm running out of ammo. Good thing I still have the main gun." He had never heard soldiers enjoy combat like this. Most species fought out of duty. Humans fought like this was a celebration. In the middle of the battle, Velrock noticed something strange. The humans weren't just winning, they were learning. Every alien move, every formation, every trick. The humans adapted to it in minutes. A Dren cruiser would change shield frequency to block human weapons, and within 2 attacks, the humans had already adjusted to bypass it. A Rin frigate would use cloaking, and humans started predicting their decloak points without even using sensors. It was like fighting an opponent who became more dangerous every second you faced them. Hours passed. The alien fleets were in chaos. Some tried to retreat, others pushed forward in desperation. But everywhere, the humans pushed harder. At one point, Velrock saw something that made his claws tighten. Human destroyer. The Bastion was surrounded by 6 enemy ships. Its shields failed. Its hull was torn open. Any other species would have surrendered. Instead, the Bastion turned and rammed the largest enemy cruiser at full speed. Both ships exploded in a blinding light. Velrock later learned the human captain had been laughing in his final transmission. By the end of the battle, the Kelros sector was a graveyard of alien ships. Humans had lost 70 vessels, but the Galactic Council had lost over 400. The news spread instantly across the galaxy. The Council called it a strategic setback, but the rest of the galaxy called it something else, a warning. In the War Council, Velrock faced the other commanders. Some shouted for more fleets, some demanded new technology. But Velrock said only one thing: "We must understand why they fight, or we will lose everything." The others ignored him. They still believed numbers would win the war. But Velrock had seen the truth in the chaos of Kelros. Numbers didn't matter. Weapons didn't matter. What mattered was that the humans wanted this war, and they were only just getting started. Far from Kelros, deep in human territory, Admiral Catherine Vance stood on the bridge of the Resolute. She looked over the battle reports and smiled. "Good," she said. "They still underestimate us." Her first officer raised an eyebrow. Was this part of the plan? Vance's smile grew wider. No, this was just the warm-up. She turned to the fleet AI. Prepare Operation Second Wind. The AI's voice was calm. Warning. Operation Second Wind will cause sustained enemy casualties beyond projected ethical limits. Vance simply replied, "That's the idea." The war had begun. The galaxy thought they had seen the worst of humanity in Kelrose. But the truth was, Kelrose was only the opening move. The galaxy did not sleep after Kelrose. News channels repeated the same phrase again and again. How did the humans win? In bars, marketplaces, and war rooms, the answer was the same. Nobody knew. Some said it was luck. Some said it was chaos. And a few whispered something far more dangerous. Maybe they wanted this. Commander Velrock sat alone in the Zolorian intelligence archives. The War Council had dismissed him after Kelrose. They thought he was being dramatic. They thought humans were reckless fools who got lucky. But Velrock had spent the last 2 weeks watching every battle recording. Every maneuver, every human decision. It was not luck. It was a pattern. Humans were testing the galaxy, probing defenses, measuring how every species fought. Like hunters studying prey before the final strike. On the 5th day after Kelrose Velrock, spies sent him a strange report. The human transmission had been intercepted. It contained no coordinates, no standard military terms, only 2 words: Project Ragnarok. Velrock had never heard of it. It wasn't in any captured database. It wasn't in any council record. He ordered his agents to dig deeper. Meanwhile, the war spread. Human fleets struck at supply lines. They hit trade convoys. They landed small strike teams on alien-controlled worlds. These human teams became ghost stories on the mining moon of Yarrick. 30 human marines held off 400 troops for 2 days and escaped without losing a single soldier. On the jungle planet Korovan, a human sniper stopped an entire armored column by destroying its lead vehicle, vanishing into the trees before the others could respond. On the icy world of Velen Prime, a single human pilot destroyed 12 enemy fighters before disappearing into a snowstorm. Every victory sent the same message: no place is safe from us. One alien prisoner, captured during a failed raid on a human colony, told his interrogator something unsettling. They don't fight like soldiers. They fight like they're enjoying it. They laugh when you think you've trapped them. And when you think you've won, they just change the rules. Velrock played the recording again and again. The more he heard, the more his scales felt cold. A breakthrough came from one of Velrock's best informants, a black market trader who sold stolen human tech. The trader risked everything to send him a message. Ragnarok is not a weapon. It's an event. They've been preparing for it for decades. That night, Velrock pulled up the oldest human exploration records. He saw something most aliens ignored. For nearly a century, humans had been quietly mapping the edges of galactic space, not just the rich core systems, but the empty, dark regions where no one lived, places perfect for hiding something massive. Velrock sent a private warning to the War Council. If we do not find Project Ragnarok before it begins, the war will be lost. The reply came back in less than an hour. It was short. Your request is denied. Focus on destroying their fleets. Velrock sat back in his chair. They were blind, and soon they would be dead. Far from the council chambers, in a classified human base deep within the Perseus Veil, Admiral Catherine Vance stood before a massive projection. It showed hundreds of ships, dark, sleek, silent. Every one of them carried weapons no alien race had ever seen. Status. She asked. A technician replied, all Ragnarok units are ready. They're waiting for your command. Vance nodded slowly. Not yet. Let them think they can still win. When they commit everything, we close the trap. Back in the Zolorian capital, Velrock stared at the words on his screen. Project Ragnarok. He didn't know exactly what it was, but he knew one thing. The humans were not fighting for survival. They were fighting for the perfect moment, And when that moment came, the galaxy would never be the same again. The war was supposed to be short. That is what the Galactic Council had promised. But months had passed. Humans were still advancing. In the council chambers, voices were no longer calm. Alien leaders shouted at each other, blaming failures on everything except their own. Weakness. The Zeller accused the Dren accused the Rin accused everyone. Only Commander Velrock stayed silent. Because he knew the truth, they were all losing. Battle reports were worse every week. Where once human fleets had been outnumbered 5-1, now the ratio was closer to 2-1. Entire alien fleets were gone, not just beaten, but erased. No survivors, no escape pods. Worse still, human ships kept improving. Their weapons hit harder, their engines ran faster, their crews fought longer without rest. It was like they were learning from every battle. And turning that experience into new weapons overnight, in the Kelros Rift, a joint alien fleet tried to ambush a human convoy. They had the advantage. Superior numbers, better position, the element of surprise. Yet within hours, the alien fleet was shattered. Survivors reported that humans had somehow predicted every move they made. They struck at weak points before the aliens even formed their formations. It was as if the humans had already seen the entire battle before it happened. Velrock reviewed the combat data carefully. It was clear now the humans weren't just reacting faster. They were planning for things no one could plan for. There was only one explanation. Project Ragnarok had already begun. They just hadn't shown the galaxy what it really was yet. Morale across the alien alliances was breaking. The Rin Collective had already withdrawn half their fleets, claiming they needed to defend their homeworlds. The Dren Alliance refused to send more ships until they received equal recognition for their sacrifices. The Galactic Council was no longer a united front, and humans were still smiling. On the human side, Admiral Catherine Vance watched the political collapse with quiet satisfaction. She knew this was part of the plan. Divide the enemy, she told her officers. Let them argue while we prepare the last step. Her fleet had grown. Where there had once been a few hundred ships, now there were thousands. Many of them new designs built during the war itself. Some were fast and light, perfect for raids. Others were massive battleships with weapons so large they needed entire moons to assemble. But none of these ships were the real secret. That secret was still waiting, far beyond the edge of the known galaxy. Velrock tried one last time to warn the Council. They are building something, he said. Something huge. If we wait, we will see it, and then it will be too late. The Council leader waved him off. You overestimate them, Commander. Humans are clever, but they bleed like everyone. Else, we will crush them in one decisive strike. Velrock knew that was exactly what the humans were waiting for, the enemy to commit everything. He could almost hear Admiral Vance's voice in his head. Finally, it begins. 2 weeks later, the Galactic Council launched Operation Final Sun. Every available warship, over 5,000, was sent to attack human territory in one massive push. The plan was to overwhelm them with pure numbers. The first engagements went well for the Council. They destroyed several human patrol fleets. They pushed deep into human space. Some even began to believe victory was finally close. Then, humans vanished. Entire fleets disappeared from scanners. No distress signals, no retreat orders, just empty space where battles had been. The Council fleet slowed, confused, and that's when the deep space sensors detected something strange, something big, something moving toward them. From the dark beyond the Perseus Veil, on the bridge of the Resolute, Admiral Vance gave the order. All Ragnarok units, engage. The black of space, a fleet unlike anything in history emerged. Ships the size of cities, hull plating so dark they looked like holes in reality, weapons glowing with energy the Council had never seen before. Velrock, watching from his command ship, finally understood. Project Ragnarok wasn't a weapon. It was an entire second war fleet, hidden until the perfect moment. And now, the moment had come. The dark fleet moved like a shadow across the stars. Each Ragnarok ship was a fortress. Some were so large that smaller destroyers could land inside them like shuttles. Their hulls reflected no light, as if they were carved from the void itself, and they were silent. Not a single open transmission, not a single warning to the alien fleets. It was like watching death itself approach. On the bridge of the Resolute, Admiral Catherine Vance stood with her hands behind her back. Her officers waited for the order. Her voice was calm. Target. Every command ship first. Break their leadership, then break everything else. The order spread across the Ragnarok fleet. Weapons came alive. Beams of white light, missiles that bent around obstacles, cannons that fired slugs the size of houses. The first volley destroyed 300 enemy ships in less than a minute. Panic spread through the Galactic Council's forces. Some tried to retreat, but the Ragnarok fleet moved faster than any ship they had ever seen. Others fought desperately, but their weapons barely scratched human armor. Velrock's own ship shook as another alien cruiser exploded nearby. Battle reports scrolling across his screen told him the truth. This was not a fight. It was an execution. The humans were everywhere. Dropships landed on enemy carriers, spilling soldiers into their hulls. Small attack craft weaved through massive fleets. Striking engines, shield generators, and ammunition bays with perfect precision. In space, discipline broke down among the alien crews. Entire squadrons abandoned orders, fleeing toward the nearest jump gate. Some ships even surrendered without firing a shot. Velrock opened a private channel to the Resolute. To his surprise, Admiral Vance answered. Her face appeared on his screen.com/steady, with that same faint smile he had seen in so many human reports. Why? He asked. Why fight like this? Why prepare for this war? Vance tilted her head slightly. You think we wanted war? She said. No, Commander. We wanted a challenge. The galaxy has been quiet for too long. We got bored. Velrock felt a chill run down his spine. You're saying you've been waiting for this? Vance's smile grew sharper. We didn't start this war. But once you brought it to us, we decided to finish it properly. Hours later, the last enemy ship in the system was destroyed. The Perseus Veil was littered with wreckage. Fires burned in the dark, slowly fading into cold silence. The Ragnarok fleet did not stop. They pushed outward, system by system, forcing surrender after surrender. Some planets opened their gates without resistance. Others fought and were erased from the star maps. In less than a month, the Galactic Council was gone. While some leaders were captured, some fled into uncharted space, most simply surrendered. Signing treaties that put them under human control, Admiral Vance stood before the United Terran Command in Earth's orbit. She gave only one statement to the galaxy. Humanity does not seek war. But if you bring war to us, understand this. We will not just survive, we will win. And we will remember who stood against us. Velrock lived to see the end. Was spared, given a place as an advisor in the new human-led order. It was not mercy. He knew it was so he could watch. So he could tell others if they ever forgot what humans were capable of. He wrote one final report in his private log. The war was not lost in the battles. It was lost the moment they smiled. Never, ever. Give humans a reason to enjoy themselves. The galaxy was quiet again. But now it was a different kind of quiet, not peace, but the stillness of prey, knowing a predator is watching. And somewhere, deep in the cold of space, the Ragnarok fleet waited in the dark. In case the galaxy ever decided to try again,